Hey there, and welcome back to the Sugar Treatment, where we bake and heal together. My name's Anthony, aka the Baking Social Worker. This is my husband.
I'm Sean.
And he's heating my chocolate chips and my peanut butter.
Too good.
Because we are making a very simple 5-ingredient maple cookie.
Yeah, I can handle that.
Very easy. I think you can definitely handle that. But we're also talking about something super important today. We're talking about what it's like to walk through the world as a gay person.
Yeah, it could be scary.
And confusing, whether it's you or someone you know that's going through that experience. It could be a difficult thing to understand.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
we wanted to get some of our very good friends together to help us with this topic. So why don't we start by having them introduce themselves?
Sounds good.
Let's get started.
Hi, I'm Jen Samples, and I identify as gay.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and I identify as gay.
Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Leanne Hope. I identify as a scrappy femme and a queer woman of color.
What was it like when you first discovered that you were LGBTQ? You identify as gay.
Yes,
which
gay.
I know,
Gay. I think I just felt like such an outsider because in my household, I knew I was the only one that maybe was different at the time.
What did it feel like to be an outsider?
Scary, different, awkward. You didn't know, like, is something wrong with me?
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, why don't we go ahead, babe, if you will, mix all those ingredients together that are there in the bowl.
Easy.
Super easy. Just put that in there. We're going to go to Jen and Ryan and see what they have to say.
I had always sort of had a hunch, but in middle school and high school, I would have like crushes, but I didn't know that they were crushes at the time. And I remember taking a Cosmo quiz in high school that was literally titled, "Are you gay?" And it told me what I already knew. And I just remember like doing that, getting the results, and just being like, oh no, this isn't good. And it was just so scary. But I'm fortunate enough to come from a family that is very supportive, very loving, and that made it so much easier. But that isn't to say it still wasn't scary. It was terrifying. It took a while. I couldn't even say the words "I'm gay" for the longest time. But yeah, the main feeling was just being scared. So, but thanks Cosmo for helping me on that journey.
For me, I would say it was kind of scary. It was a little bit terrifying. Just because I didn't know what it was, but I kind of knew what it was. Probably I'd say when I was around 12 or 13 years old, I started having attraction to my same sex. And somehow I knew that there was something about that wasn't, I'll call it, normal. And so I really just kind of kept it quiet because I was scared. I wanted to fit in at school, and I wanted people to like me. And I just felt like if I just kept that to myself and kept it a secret, then, it would kind of mitigate any risk of being ostracized or, picked on.
I love the Cosmo story, Jen, by the way, just because I wish I had a magazine to be like, yeah, you're gay.
I love just the visual of Jen seeing this Cosmo on her mom's nightstand and being like, dun dun dun, I gotta take the quiz.
I'm surprised there's
secretly doing it.
Are you gay quiz? That I give props to Cosmo on that one.
So it sounds like the theme of this question is fear, scary, this idea of being othered.
Yeah,
right?
Ryan had that same kind of feeling. It's like I said the same thing too. It's you feel different.
You feel different.
You don't know how
And there's fear in feeling different because anything that falls outside of the normal experience is it doesn't feel good. What does it actually feel like to walk through the world as an LGBTQ person? And we're going to be going to Jen and Leanne to answer this question.
Leanne.
So let's see what they had to say.
Being queer specifically means that I live in a world and I have a lens where I don't question anymore whether someone is a man or a woman. Especially living in the Bay Area where there's so many queers and where you can't always tell when someone's a man or a woman. After a while of being exposed to that, you stop asking and you stop wondering and trying to figure it out. And so it's a great feeling to live in that space where it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm going to be attracted to who I'm attracted to. How, like, it's also really scary to walk in the world as a queer person. I'd be a little cautious about holding hands with my partner, kissing in public, and sort of be vigilant about who was looking. There's still messages we get, like violence around the world, and even like domestically with like the Pulse nightclub shooting. Like, there is constant reminders that, we still have to be careful, and that, that we still could be endangered.
I've mastered the subtle come out with just like a casual mention of my girlfriend or some, I don't know, just to make it not a big deal, and because it's not. And it's funny because then that becomes almost like a definer, like Jen, lesbian. But, there's a lot of other adjectives I would put ahead of that to describe myself. It's only one small part of me, and it's the part that I'm so proud about, and I love being gay, and it's taken a lot to get to this point, but it's a great quality that I love about myself. But yeah, it does become this definer, and I will say it has, I think, allowed me to tap into this empathy that I don't necessarily know I would have gained if I was not gay, because I walk through the world with this lens knowing that someone might have a problem with me or might not like me because of who I love. So that is just a weird lens to sort of have.
Tell me what you thought of what Jen and Leanne were saying.
That's what I was doing. I was thinking there is a common theme. Like, what we keep reaching is like the fear, and I feel like I relate with Jen because she said something about labels. Like, I was closeted for a long time because I didn't want to be like, there's Sean, he's gay, and.
Right, you didn't like that was the first adjective.
Right.
That would describe you.
Right, like
what was behind that? Like, what was the fear that if that were to be the first adjective?
I don't know. It's just that feeling of being different, and I feel like everyone feels that a little bit because Leanne spoke about the violence that there is. That's a real thing, and sometimes people that are violent or maybe don't understand are more vocal and about their feelings. So you know if someone doesn't like you sometimes, and they let you know you're different.
But just like both of them said, like, we do walk through the world knowing that there are people who do not accept our love or accept who we are. And so it's strange to walk through the world with that lens, knowing, like, just being cognizant of, like, because of who you are, someone isn't going to like you. So let's go ahead and move to question number 3.
Okay.
Which is, how do you think it's different from the heteronormative experience?
For me, for Ryan, being LGBTQ at a certain point in my life gave me a reason to be a victim. And I bought into this victim narrative. Oh, I'm LGBTQ, so, I'm not going to be able to be as successful, or I can't accomplish things. And that victim narrative for me is very, very detrimental, because as soon as I start thinking that what someone else thinks of me, as soon as I start thinking that, then I can start feeling bad about myself. I can start feeling less than. I can start questioning my sense of belonging.
I really love this question. That when I first started dating with Bree, I remember I was like nervous because I didn't know the rules, right? Like, I didn't know who opens the door for the other person. I didn't know who pays at the end of the meal. I didn't know. Oh my God, there was just like an intense wind and I thought it was an earthquake. Okay, so where was I? Oh, and so I didn't know, like, even with sex, like, I was like, how do we have sex? Like, who's on top, who's on bottom, who does what? There was a process of relearning social norms or gender norms or lack thereof, right? Like, and so that was scary, but then it also felt liberating to be able to, like, make up our own rules.
We clearly have a lot to say.
Wait, first though, Leanne girl, that wind, I know all about it.
That wind, girl, it's been windy here.
It's been windy. It knocked our lights out the other night. Like literally, we had no
like
power.
a tornado,
It's
girl.
a tornado, girl.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to the
Yeah.
topic. Ryan, I want to talk about what Ryan said about being a victim.
Do want to say it's really interesting that they have two different points of views that are very, very
different.
so different yet so true.
So I can relate to both. So
Yeah.
with Ryan, you know, being straight excludes you from this experience of being othered in this way. And I think that what Ryan is getting at is this idea of like when you're growing up, you are conditioned to believe that you are less than, right? And that comes in the form of insults, bullying,
Right.
you know, going into locker rooms and feeling like, how am I, you know, how do I get dressed here? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like these experiences as you grow up as a kid, they condition you to believe that you are less than and that you are sort of a victim, right? And I want to be clear here that there are many LGBTQ people out there who are victims and who have been victimized because of their identity. And we're not taking away from that experience by saying, hey, you are not a victim in that we are in this community together.
Yeah.
And you should not deprive yourself of dating that person, going to that prom. Let's move on to what Leanne said.
Yes.
Because she also has a different experience as a queer POC.
Which it is really interesting because I feel like I relate to her with like, who's the mom, who's the dad, who's supposed to take, you know, what's the gender roles we're supposed to be playing in this relationship. And
We don't have any models for it.
Right.
What would you want a straight person to know about what it feels like to be LGBTQ?
That there are so many different models. There are models on how to love. You know, there's polyamory. It's not just monogamy, right? There's models on our identity. It's not just gay and straight. Like there's so many things in between. Like all the you know, being non-binary, being like all the things. And that all of those things can coexist.
If you see that you have someone in your life that's struggling and it's because of their identity or it's because of, you know, whatever they're going through, if you reach out and say, hey, listen, I'm here for you. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here for you and I'm going to support you no matter what. I love you. That is like life-changing. And I've had people do that for me and I'm so grateful and I see you going in for a bite. So how is it?
I'm doing it.
Last time we made these, we didn't add the chocolate chips. So
They're so good. They're literally just peanut butter. They're so good.
So thank you to Jen and Ryan and
All our
Leanne.
friends, we love you. Thank
I
you for
love
doing
you
that.
and I miss you. I haven't seen them in so long. And so this was a nice way to connect with them. For those of you out there that want to make this, I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the recipe in the description so you can go ahead and check that out. And thanks for watching.
Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel.
Make sure you like and
this
subscribe.
video.
Comment below. Let me know how yours turned out and if you have any other questions, any comments about this. We'd love to hear from you guys. And make sure that you always keep it sweet.